I'm Caroline, and we're going to be talking a little bit about reciprocal style C, and then Amanda is going to explain the task that we're doing, and then we'll just wrap up for a few minutes at the end. So on your handout in front of you, we've just kind of outlined the big goals, purposes, and key points to the reciprocal style. The key elements of the style are really social interaction, reciprocation, and giving feedback. This style allocates more responsibility to the learner because the observer is able to give feedback, and you guys are able to learn from each other and compare and contrast performance versus just the teacher giving the feedback and observing. The purpose really is to expand on your socialization skills, being able to work with each other in a partner setting, practice your communication with each other, and be able to effectively give feedback and observation for the performance you guys will be doing with the task today. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and have Caroline explain what we're doing.
Hello. So, real quick, I'm going to read a quote that was in the book that I think really encapsulates how we're going to go about our activity. So, at times in a private practice, the teacher is unable to circulate to all the students and offer feedback when it is needed. Therefore, the way that this practice is designed is to eliminate that waiting period. So today, who here knows how to jump rope? So in just a short sec, we're all going to go outside, and before we leave, we'll count off you guys in groups of 2. And you and your partner will have 1 jump rope. And in the second page of our handout, we have a criteria for you to follow. And something cool about this reciprocal style is that there is someone doing the action, which for today is jump roping. There's the observer, and then there's the teacher. The role of the doer is to do the task, jump rope, following the criteria to the best of their ability. The observer will watch while the doer is jump roping and give feedback when it's appropriate and needed. And the teacher, so the 3 of us, will be walking around, but we will not be communicating with the doer. We'll be communicating with the observer when the observer has questions for us. So with that, I'll count you guys off in 2s, and you can go ahead and head outside. So Patrick and Brian, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I guess just with the person next to you, Tyler and Cade, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So just get together in your groups, and we can head on out.
45 and then direct the learner to the activity.
I got some instructions.
Is the rope supposed to be behind you when you start or in front of you?
That we left up to you guys because some people like to their first jump come in front, and some people like to have it behind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that is up to you guys. Good question.
I'm gonna use my agency to decide I'm gonna start with it behind me.
Yes.
Okay.
Swing rope overhead.
Just do it in practice. It's hard to keep them at 45.
Have you ever had to do like
That's a nice breeze. Oh, very good. You look great to me.
when the rope approaches your feet, you're hop over it, keeping the ball on the weight. You're waiting on the ball, anticipating the next jump, keeping the motion.
That's cute.
Is that okay? Face that works best. Go over your
I can't do this without
Using your wrists.
okay. Here comes the start. Here.
Caroline?
Yeah, and then
Alright.
You're like supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
and we'll switch in just 1 minute.
Yeah, got it.
You're doing a great job of popping over the road. Yeah, no, we're going for it. Yeah. Maybe next time. Where is that?
Okay guys, go ahead and switch partners now so the other person can have an opportunity to learn.
I'm sorry. I can try to take this one first.
Put away.
Keep going.
I really don't think that.
Is that two?
Sure, no, you're good. I can't do this because I have the calf straight right now. The sound. Making him do good. Yeah. Keep learning.
Yes. It's like
Yeah, now you got it. The little thing you do like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I forgot what that's called.
Here.
We like crossover.
Yeah. Like crossover and jump back.
Dance would be like what you were doing, spinning it twice,
Yeah.
or jumping it every time the
Okay.
turns around. That would be other ways to try to do that. One thing I would really watch it for is your critique is movement of your wrist. Because it's easier to get out of the rope when you're having more arm short and you end up tripping. That's why you're this way. Unless you're going to be doing something more challenging, it will require you to get up a little bit to do it. So keeping the motion at the wrist.
Okay. Try that. Wrist. Oh, perfect.
Oh, rather than like
Coach, can I get some more?
watch out for that.
So I think you can see a little bit of arm movement, but it's pretty good. She's adapting a little bit more. She's adapted both single leg and double leg.
Pretty skilled jump roper.
Only one.
Okay, everyone, thank you for participating. We're all gonna come together now.
Hey guys, can you get on in? We're just gonna stay up here and circle back up around.
I hope you guys had fun doing jump rope, whether you've never done it before or haven't done it in a while. So, does anyone have questions about what we just did or anything?
I do. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Michaela?
What's the purpose of having our partner give us
So, it's to help kind of give instruction to what you can't see. So if your wrist, sometimes you may not know if your wrist is more out or you're using your arms more. So since they can see you, then they can give instruction for what you can't see.
It's also helpful because there's usually one teacher and multiple students, so now we're allocating more responsibility to you to be able to, in a sense, be a teacher or an observer instead of just the teacher playing that role.
More individual attention.
I think since it is reciprocal, so both the observer and the doer are able to be an observer and a doer, it allows you to see where someone else might struggle in the skill set, and then maybe you can keep that in mind for yourself when you go practice. So say your partner is doing big arm movements, it's something, maybe a reminder that, okay, when I go, I need to make sure I keep my arms down and wrists flexible, or, you know, bounce more on my toes and not necessarily bringing my knees up or whatever it may be.
That's a good question. Any other questions?
Ryan.
My question.
So what's something you guys observed about yourself when you went from the doer to observer or observer to doer?
Maybe that instead of waiting for instructions, I kind of start doing the activity.
For more independence.
I think I was quick, like my lift was short and like Taylor was taller than me, so even before you started I was like, oh, like you should try squatting down, it'll make it easier. Like before you had actually like done it, I was already trying to.
How many of you felt like you could challenge yourself by varying the jump, either by how many times you rotated? Quite a few of you?
Yeah.
Good.
Was finding your pace easy or difficult, and was hopping once, like every time the rope went over, or some people I saw did 2 hops? Did that affect your pace or rhythm at all?
Yeah.
What was harder? Which one was harder for you? But which pace? Was it jumping every other time, or was it completing a quicker turn?
Well, after observing, I would say that she would struggle when she would try and do 2. It would be hard for her to get back in the rhythm of just doing 1.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a good observation.
I think when we were doing 2 hops in between each, it was harder to go faster. So you had a tendency to go towards a slower pace just because it's double hopping each time, and so it's a lot more work.
So overall transitioning between, if you did try 1 hop and then 2, that transition wasn't too smooth because of the pace difference. Any other comments or last minute questions? Observations?
Are there benefits to this teaching style that you can think of in settings other than kinesthetic learning?
I would say yes. In the classroom setting, I think when I first read through it all, I immediately thought of when teachers have you pair up and read and to like kind of lead your own discussion within the classroom. So I think probably not necessarily for like younger grades, but the older we get, the more that we are able to recognize and lead our own discussions in that sense. And then switch the role of asking questions and not asking questions to people within our own classroom. So I think, yeah, it can work in multiple settings. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, if you're feeling ready, let's do a squat. Squat. No one's feeling ready.
And then back up.
And then back up. Okay. Now if you're feeling ready, do a side lunge. Doesn't matter what side you go to.
Now, you're just going to comfortable after that. Balance on your left leg. Now balance on your right leg.
All right, nice job. I'm Jenna. I'm Allie.
I'm Jeremiah.
And today we're going to take you guys through a circuit that you will do a double leg squat, a side lunge, and then a single leg squat. So we're going to kind of progress it to make it a little more difficult each time.
And we're going to start off demonstrating each exercise to you, but then this is a fairly independent style. So we will pass around the criteria sheet, and you will stay in your position and practice going through all the movements, critiquing yourself, sharing feedback, and Jeremiah will share the reason for this.
Yeah, the purpose is for you guys to be able to properly self-assess your own ability with a certain
All right, I'm going to start. So a double leg squat. I'm guessing that a lot of you have done this before, but it involves having the correct form. So we're going to keep our toes pointed straight ahead of us, about shoulder width apart. So you want it to be a comfortable kind of stance. And as you squat down, you're going to act like you're sitting in a chair. and then keeping your center of gravity over your heels, so don't lean forward too much, but also don't lean back so you don't fall over. You can use your arms to stabilize yourself, and as you go down into your squat, keep your chest forward and your eyes forward, using the mirror to see how your posture is. And then when you extend, make sure you squeeze your glutes intentionally to come back up, and that'll strengthen the exercise that the squat is working out.
For a side lunge, so you will be starting off standing with your feet hip width apart, and then if you want to practice with me, you can start with your right leg and take one step out to the side, and then you'll bend that leg that you stepped out with, making sure that your knee doesn't go over your toes and that your ankle, knee, and hip are all in line. You also want to make sure that your toes are facing forward and that your opposing leg remains straight. So you'll do one side, then switch over to the other, shifting your body weight to the opposing leg.
Great. Now that you guys are hopefully comfortable with those two movements, I want you guys to follow me and shift your weight onto your left leg. Now I want you guys to balance on that left leg. I want you guys to maintain 3 points of contact in your foot and the two balls of your feet in the front and then your heel. I want you guys to maintain that balance in the middle of the foot. With the single leg squat, it's very important that you first have balance. If you don't have balance, your squat isn't going to be that great. What you can do is, like Frankenstein, keep your arms out in front of you to help with counterbalance. As you do that, make sure when you go down into your squat, you trap your knee over your toes down to a comfortable position as far as you can go, and then squeeze your glutes as you come all the way up. Once you guys do that, switch to the other leg and try that again. So remember, balance, middle of the foot, keeping those 3 points of contact, arms out like Frankenstein, trap the knee over the toes, and then back up.
So in just a minute, we're going to be passing out your criteria sheets, and you'll have about 3 to 4 minutes to fine-tune each exercise. And I'll be giving you a verbal cue about when it's time to move on, but if you feel that you've mastered a movement and you've checked off all the boxes on your criteria sheet, you can go ahead and move on to the next movement. We'll be circulating to answer questions if any come up or if you're not feeling it the right way, but this is an independent activity. So you're going to be critiquing yourself and doing the movements on your own. So he's passing it out.
Take a second to look at them,
Yeah.
familiarize yourself, and then if you have any questions, once you've looked at it, we can go over those.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so this criteria sheet is important for you to have for yourself so that it's kind of like a self-assessment. So style B is called self-check style, and that means that you get to use this sheet for yourself and using different parts of the room, such as the mirror, to be able to check yourself in a personalized way, but also to follow the specific criteria and cues that are delineated on the sheet for each exercise.
And guys, don't be afraid to use the room. You have the mirror, you guys also have a bar in the back. Once you get to the single leg squat, you know it can be difficult to balance on one leg. If you need to use that for support, go ahead and use it. This whole room is for you guys to use.
Okay, any clarifying questions before we get started? Okay.
We're going to turn on some music
We're gonna
for
turn on
you.
some music, and we're gonna get started doing some squat circuits.
Make sure you can see yourself in the mirror. And we're here if you have questions. We'll be circulating
I have searched that well.
You can go ahead and move on to the single leg squat if you haven't yet.
Feel free to use the bar for this one if you guys really think
Now
you
you can
need
use the
to.
bars too for this if you need to. Make sure you have your one. About 1 more minute of single leg squats, so keep working hard. All right, let's come back together to our squats and our two lines. Great work, everyone. How are your legs feeling?
Nice and warm.
Good.
So that was the self-check style. What did you guys like and not like about that?
I liked how we got to use the mirror to our advantage and see ourselves and critique ourselves, but at least for me, I don't love seeing what I'm doing, so it felt a little awkward, but it was good that we got to critique ourselves because we got to see ourselves from the mirror.
One thing that I do like is, like she said, seeing myself, but one thing that I know for myself personally is I do really good with tactical cues. So if I can like figure out where I am proprioception-wise, just having something else to like, but the bar is a good example of incorporating that.
You guys did a great job of self-checking and using the bar as you needed. Yeah, please.
I think what I liked about it is that we could more or less move at our own pace.
Yeah, we really like that this gives you the freedom to be able to do a set number of motions and do it a certain way, but at your own pace. And also skipping things that you already know. So it cuts out the time where you're like, yeah, I already know how to do this, and gives you the maximum amount of time to improve. And any of you felt like you actually improved your squat style?
Kind of. In any specific ways? Or just in general?
Well, the mirror was helpful because what I did notice was that when I squat, my knees tended to invert inward. Seeing
guys find that with critiquing yourself, you were easy on yourself or were harsh on yourself? Easy?
Because it was myself, it wasn't
Okay.
hearing from someone else. Like, I know that I can handle the feedback from myself,
Mm.
so it made it a little easier.
Yeah. Yes.
It's hard not to compare yourself to other people.
Okay.
I'm talking to you because you like
I'm talking to you.
whoa, dude. That was impressive, but it's still like, hey, I gotta go at my own pace. It's really beneficial not to just compare other people.
Do you think having the criteria sheet helped you decide that you're just gonna focus on yourself?
Yeah.
Even after
Yeah.
action?
So it's like, it's a game plan, you know, take my own time, but still, that's impressive.
Good.
Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, just that it was easy to critique myself because I felt comfortable, but at the same time, I think I would have been harder on myself than if somebody else were critiquing me.
So in this learning style, we decided to start you with the double leg squat because it is the easiest, most stable form of a squat, and then to progress it from there. Did you guys feel like starting at the double leg squat was a good progression for you personally? Yes. Right on. Well, that's what we hope to accomplish today. So we're all very proud of you, and congratulations.